Coming up on today's episode of the Relebogile Mabotja podcast, she's an actress, she's an author, she's successful, she's traveled the world. She started out in radio in Harlem to find herself homeless and in a women's shelter with her children. Stay tuned and find out who she is. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Relebogile Mabotja podcast. Let us know who you'd like to see and the things you want us to talk about. Comment down below, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can be part of this community and be the first to find out when we drop an episode and some of the other interesting content that we have on the channel. I'm excited for today's guest because the team and I have been talking. We're like, we need to have her on. And then we always say to the guests, this is a jeans and t-shirt type of a show, but she said, absolutely not. Give it up for Pebetsi Nolo Matlaila. How are you?
I'm good.
You
but
look
can I just clarify my
amazing.
name? Nobody told me about the jeans and t-shirts, but if they did, I was still going
She
to
was
rock
still
up
going
this
to
way.
do this.
Yes.
Yes.
I have to be honest. I've always been a Relebogile fan, right?
Oh, man.
So I've seen a couple of podcasts, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to honor this like it's a serious occasion. And why should I wait for a red carpet to wear
You
the dress?
don't.
No, I'm going to rock this dress and then go to the supermarket in it and buy
I was
some
going to say, are you going to
groceries.
go buy bread
Yes,
in this dress?
yes.
You know, sometimes I love if like I'm emceeing a gig or whatever and then we'll decide to go grab a bite.
Yeah.
There I am, go garage. Aye.
Yeah, and holding it up like...
Yes. Firstly, thank you for coming through.
Thank you
and,
for inviting me.
Honoring the invite. I think I have heard so much about your story and I've been so touched with everything you have been through, but I also like slashers. You know what a slasher is?
I don't know, enlighten me.
Slasher is a person who's I'm an actor slash, producer slash. Yes, that's a slasher.
Okay.
I love me a multi-skilled slasher.
Yeah.
Was that always your intention when you got into the business to say, I always am going to be doing multiple things?
None whatsoever.
Really?
I don't even come from the school of entertainment industry. You know, I'm more of a psychology, education, you know, that side of work. And when I got into the industry, I learned from a few people that for you to have longevity and sustainability within the industry, you have to diversify yourself.
Why did you even think of leaving that space of psychology, educator? Why did you decide to part ways with that part of yourself? So what exactly happened? Give us the low down.
So, these are things I've just discovered recently. You know, some people are chosen in the industry, others are called. You know, it could be a calling, and then it could also just be your choice from growing up, right? I want to find myself in the entertainment industry. So I recently learned that for me, it is a calling because I did not know that I had the talent to work in radio. I didn't know I had the talent to be an actress. I didn't know I had those talents. I didn't even harness them in my childhood, you know. And how I got into the industry, somebody would say it's lady luck, but I think it was being at the right place at the right time. I know this may sound like it's not true, but it is really my story. I'm at a flea market. I'm trying to buy something in Harlem where I used to hang out when I was feeling homesick.
Did you hear? She said Harlem, yo. She said Harlem,
So
not Harlem. Harlem. So you be there at Harlem?
Yeah. So I lived in New York for 4 years, right?
Yeah.
And every time I felt homesick, I would hang out in Harlem, where a huge number of Africans were concentrated, and then they have their markets there. So I was finding out about shea butter and black soap
Castor oil and
you know.
what.
And somebody behind me said, "You have a great voice. Do you do radio?" And I turned and I said, "No, I don't do radio." He said, "Would you like me to train you?" So there was a Southern African radio station within the Salvation Army, and this individual worked for the Salvation Army, and they allowed him to explore with the equipment, and he opened up a community radio station there. So I started radio in Harlem, New York, under the Salvation Army, and he trained me. And as history would have it, when the radio bug bites you,
You can't leave.
You're in, yeah.
You can't
The similar thing happened with acting as well. I was accompanying a cousin of mine who's been in the industry to auditions. And somebody said, why aren't you auditioning? And I said, no, I'm here to take pictures with the characters. I'm a huge fan of so-and-so. And they said, no, try your luck. And I was like, I don't know what to do. They said, do a monologue. I didn't even know what a monologue is. So I went and asked a few people around, Googled, put together a monologue. And there I was. I ended up on TV. And the exact words of the individual was, you've got a TV face. You know what I mean? So these things I look at, as you trace back now and you connect the dots, I didn't have to really stand in queues, in auditions. I didn't have to send multiple demos. So then it means it's a calling that I can't run away from, you know. But since I learned that, I don't take it for granted. I don't take it for granted at all.
How did you find yourself, though, in Harlem?
So after high school, there's this cultural exchange programs that were advertised, where you can go be an au pair or have an exchange student opportunity and work maybe at a camp. And I opted for the au pair one, which is just a fancy word for nanny, for rich families.
Yes.
You know, so that's what I opted to do. My parents were not happy. They wanted me to continue with studies because I'm an academic, you know. So I went there. I said, I might never get a chance to go to America for free. Who's going to take me there for free? Oh, and how long is it going to take me to make enough money to go there by myself?
Right.
I'm going. And so I lived in New York in an area called Chelsea, which is closer to Tribeca. I think they call it the Lower West Side. And I used to go to Harlem quite a lot on weekends when I'm homesick,
How was your host family? Because there's so many horror stories. My sister was also an au pair in Spain. And I would encourage any young person, any opportunity to do exchanges, go for a travel experience. You're going to learn so much about yourself going abroad. But how was your host family?
Man, first of all, it was a culture shock in terms of religion. They were strictly Jewish family.
Really?
I come from a strictly Christian family. So on Christmas, I didn't see a Christmas tree. So we had this rule where on Christmas they'd send me home, they'd buy me a ticket to be home with my family. But I got to learn about your Hanukkahs, your Rosh Hashanahs, your Bar Mitzvahs. Like, I immersed myself in it. And I think what I was also lucky with is that the father of the host family is a Jew Afrikaner from South Africa. So
how random!
I know, right? So we used to speak Afrikaans together. So I didn't feel so.
I just love. What a random experience!
Yes, you know, they were a great family. I used to travel with them on private jets. Okay, around the world, because I mean these are rich families. Au pair could not be done by your average middle class. They're wealthy. We used to go to Israel. I've been to places I know for a fact that I would have never gone on my own. Tokyo, Israel, Mexico, Hong Kong, you know, Britain, of course. We've been to all these places with them. And they took me like family. I never felt black. I never felt sidelined that, oh, you're a Christian. And they never even looked down on my religion. The only downside to it was that one would look at it as cheap labor because the amount of work I had to do and the amount of money I was getting paid, when I compare it with your citizen, your American citizen, I was getting paid peanuts.
But that's why they import you.
Yes.
Because they can.
Yeah.
And I think you would still do it again.
Oh, yes. Oh, definitely. I'll find a way to do it and use the money profitably. Probably get a second job as well, you know. Yeah, but
with the digital era, you would be able to now.
Yes.
Yo, I didn't realize that you traveled that extensively and that you being in Harlem was for au pairing. So, what were some of the difficult parts, like the homesickness and all those things? Because I think people, we glamorize traveling and living abroad so much that we forget how nice we have it at home.
Homesickness is a real thing. It's a real thing because homesickness is just another word for loneliness. And the loneliness hits hard. And the older you grow, the harder the loneliness hits. And no matter how much you can try and find it. I remember I used to love eating out at a restaurant in Brooklyn called Mandela. I don't know if it's still there. The only place you could eat pap and boerewors.
I think it's still there, and the only reason I'm remembering this is I remember Bonang doing some event, and I think it was at that exact restaurant. I remember her posting outside, and South Africans came to.
Yeah, it's by far the only one where you can get real authentic South African food, you know. So, however, it's extremely expensive.
I was gonna say it's not 50 rand plate; it's $50.
Yes. So I'll treat myself that way. But then you are encouraged to stay friends with the people you landed there with, even if they're in another state. You know, just so that once in a while you guys can meet. For example, June 16, they don't celebrate it that side. We want to celebrate it, and so that's when they would have au pairs come together who are from the same country. Yeah.
Would you encourage any young person to do that experience, even knowing and understanding that you guys are actually quite wealthy, you could be paying better? Would you still say, go for it?
Absolutely. It's just that nowadays with the plight of human trafficking, I wouldn't advise it. You know, back then, my parents had the same fear, they're going to sell you when you get there. You know, but then nowadays, you know, we've got human trafficking, we've got child abductions, we've got essaying of au pairs within the families. So right now,
your passport gets taken away and you can't leave.
Yeah. So I wouldn't want any child to go there and experience that. I think in my case, the agencies were still authentic. They were still regulated by the embassies as well. You know, it's not some sort of a shortcut where you apply online only. You still get to... we needed to go for interviews with the American embassy and the South African embassy prior to getting approved, you know. So there's a lot of regulations and requirements you need to meet before you can get approved.
So what brought that chapter of your life to a close? Were you tired of the living abroad? Were you just over it?
No, I would still be there now.
Really?
My best friend stayed there until she got married, and now she got a green card. You know, so she's a citizen, you know. I would have loved to stay as well. But my visa came to an end, and I had a fear of being illegal, an illegal immigrant. Because back then, I don't know if the laws have changed, but wholly illegal in America, even if it's for 4 months, once they find out and deport you, you won't be able to set foot there for 10 years.
So was there not an option of just renewing your visa?
I had already renewed.
So you couldn't do it a third time?
No, so the agency allows you 2 years. But the family loved me so much that they worked things around with the embassy to allow me to stay under the work permit visa for another 2 years. But that's as max as they could do.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So now you came back home. I'm sure your family thought you coming back with all these dollars.
Oh, they were already enjoying the dollars way before I came back home. Oh my goodness. My brothers were probably the first to wear Air Force Ones when they came out in high school, because I would buy things and send them home. You know, I used to send my mom money regularly because I'm young, I'm 19. What am I doing with $300? And back then, the dollar to the rand, we were talking 18 rand or 10 rands, if I can remember clearly. Yeah. So I'm getting wages. So I'm getting about 3,000 plus a week. I'm living with the family. I'm
You're not paying
rent.
any...
What am I doing with that money? I sent it home.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
When you came back, did you come back with like a plan, or did you feel like you had to fully start from scratch?
Yeah. I felt like I had to start from scratch. And also it was a bit uncomfortable. You're living in New York, the city that never sleeps, literally. And now you're coming home to Limpopo, where everything is...
the country. Limpopo.
Oh, well, I grew up in the suburbs in Limpopo, Kopulukwani, in town, but still everything felt like it was moving
slow motion.
Slow. I was
You
always
could even see the sun rays doing it.
I was always so frustrated. But it didn't take me long to move to Joburg without a plan. I said to my mother, I'm going to Joburg. I'll go live in Joburg. I'll find a place. I'll live with friends. Something. I had friends who went to UJ, so they lived in not student houses, but they had rented out here and there. And I found my way eventually. I worked at APSA as a consultant. I've tried telemarketing. I tried everything until I found my feet. However, I was continuing with my studies with UNISA.
Oh, yes.
I'm still studying psychology with UNISA, which I started overseas.
Yes.
Because it's long distance. And then I'm continuing studying while working at the same time.
So now I feel like there was that time where people could be like, I'm moving to Joburg, and you just go. But obviously times have changed.
Yeah.
Just with safety and all of those things. But do you feel like opportunities were abundant? Because for many people, you can't just say, I went to Gauteng and then nearly telemarketing, ke APSA, ke. You know, people are like now scrounging for the few jobs that are available with the tiniest of wages.
No, back then there was so much opportunity in the air. The air smelled like opportunity. I came back in 2009, and then it was 2010.
And then the World Cup.
2010, there's no way you did not have a job in 2010.
Yes.
It was just busy everywhere in Joburg, you know. So I came in right at the right time, and I, immersed myself. But the one thing I did do was to walk to the radio station, the national radio station with the black M. And I just
Metro FM. I don't know why she's not saying.
I mean, isn't it your competition or something?
We are not. I talk about all the stations on 702.
Okay. It just needed to be.
There ain't no competition.
Noted. So I walked in there and I said, "Listen, I did radio at in Harlem, New York. I want to work here."
Yes.
And I was told, "And who are you? And what experience do you have?" I walked out of there with an egg on my face and a tail between my legs. But I told myself, okay, they want qualifications, I'll give them. And I signed up at some school called On Cue Communications.
I know On Cue.
Yeah, I signed up there. And I did my courses, learned, the ins and outs. And obviously I couldn't go back there and jump right back in.
Yes.
I had to start working my way from the bottom with your student community radio stations, and I started at UJFM. And from UJFM I jumped into Capricorn FM and I've worked at various radio stations.
So when you went to Capricorn, that meant you went back
home.
Limpopo.
Yes.
How did you consolidate in your New York state of mind?
The money. The money was the motivation. I'm going back because, first of all, I moved from university radio station straight into live drive time show. Mm-hmm. That's a big move.
Yes,
I'm going to do drive time.
An amazing opportunity.
Yeah, so I jumped ship. I think at heart I am an opportunist. I do jump at an opportunity that I know if I miss this one, I'll regret it for the rest of my life.
So now you went back. Did you decide to live Kohai, or you were like, guys, I need my own space?
I lived Kohai, but Neki Jolas. I didn't really sleep at home every day. I didn't sleep at home every day. I'd be lying if I said I did, But yeah, I did stay at home.
At what point did now you find yourself back more Gauteng?
Relebogile, that one was not a happy move like the first time.
Yes.
This one, I was running away. I ran away to Joburg. What do I mean by that? I had just given birth to my first child. I was 4 months in, severely depressed.
As in postpartum.
Postpartum.
Yes.
But I didn't know then what was wrong with me. And I was having challenges with the father of the child as well. And I felt like nobody is giving me an ear. Nobody's listening to me.
Or understanding.
Nobody's understanding me. I'm frustrated. So I planned an escape. Because every time I'd say I want to leave and go start afresh, I was denied access to live with my daughter. Because what are you going to do in Joburg with a child when you're not working? The father is working, the father is stable, a respectable individual in society on top of that at the time. So he was loaded, you know.
Established
And
stable.
loaded, known politician. Okay, let me clarify this. Remember there was a time when they used to have the ANC Youth League,
Yes.
Limpopo, and
Yes.
before it was dissolved,
When it was
still
yes.
that he was part of that squad.
Uh-huh.
Yes, so you can imagine the kind of money we're talking.
So,
And
question, you say that he was working, you were not. Were you not working because you were pregnant? Wow. Okay, I get it. And we know that the dynamics
Yeah.
of what they are, the nature in this industry, there
Yeah.
is no security and maternity leave.
Exactly.
And all of these things.
Yeah.
So, what made you say, Aishem, I'm bouncing?
I woke up one day, so I think I was caught in a haze for a while because I badly wanted it to work out. Because I was always reminded that any girl would want to be you. Any girl would want to be having a baby with that guy. You know? How would you? I mean, that's something to be proud of. And I tried to live with that, within that illusion for a while. But after giving birth, I woke up one day and I said, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I felt like I was living under somebody's shadow. After all I've done, after all the work I've done on myself, I went to America. I come back established. I want something, I go work for it, and I get it. And now, I felt like I was forgotten, and now I'm known as this person's baby mama. And and people didn't understand how frustrating that is. Like, I cannot live under somebody's shadow. Maybe let's share the platform, but
Yeah.
I'm not living under your shadow. And also, the abuse was there, and the humiliation of having other partners, and I was not supposed to have a say because, hey man, you're given the car and the house. You're living in this mansion, you're given a credit card. Your life should be good. You can't be complaining, But I wasn't happy. I knew I wasn't happy, and mixed that with postpartum depression. I felt like I was drowning every single day. And they didn't want me to live with my kid, and I felt like that was my only reason to keep going. If I didn't have that child, and in the kind of depression I was in, I was probably going to kill myself. So when I was told I can't live with her, I thought, okay, I might as well end my life. It's over.
Yeah.
All that I've done, it's over. It's over for me.
Because you're trapped, basically.
Yeah. And will I ever get back on top again, Because my decision making has made me be stagnant for a while. There's no promise of the kind of future I used to dream of. But I couldn't stay there. It was a dark place, and the fact that nobody understood. For me, I felt like the only way I can save myself is to leave this town. It's a very small town. Everybody knows everybody's business. So now I'm that girl who left a promising career to go have a baby with a prominent politician. And now this prominent politician is sleeping around and having his fun around town, while you are the one who's the baby mama at home, and you're supposed to just shut your lips and enjoy the wealth, And so I planned an escape, but they caught me the night before I left.
Who is they? Him.
So we had separated. I'm living back at my parents' house with the kid, and I had packed things secretively on the side. I had bought bus tickets and everything, and for some reason my mom found the bag that night.
Moms always know.
How did she sniff it out?
They always know.
And then she calls the baby daddy on me. She's about to escape with the child. Now I have my mom, my dad, and the baby daddy ganging up against me not to leave with the child. Now I called the police on them, and it was so much drama. The police are like, we can't do anything. This is a social workers matter. And it's 11 o'clock at night. I was escorted out of my parents' house in a police van. I'm laughing now.
Why? Wait. So were you escorted because they were saying you're neglecting your child?
Oh no, my dad kicked me out. My dad said, when we don't want you, when you can go and plus you must remember, this guy is the guy with money who, put in a new gate for my parents. So he had won them over.
So wait, the van was for transport services, or you were in trouble?
And I called the police, but the same police escorted me out because my dad is like, no, Muchieng, take her, we don't want her. and I remember telling my mom, if I don't make it, you must tell my child that you are the cause of my death. I'm going to kill myself. I spent that night Googling the easiest way, fastest way to kill myself. because that's how bad and dark the situation was. However, I did get on the bus.
So you ended, after Google said, after you looked and said, too painful, too expensive, let me just get on the bus.
I said I was going to do it when I get to Joburg. Because if I do it there, they might find me and then I won't be successful. So, look, I'm laughing, but I think that's the reality of when you lose a battle to depression and you start having suicidal thoughts. You can't explain it in the moment that I want to kill myself. But now when you look back, you realize, yeah, I did want to, because I felt like there was no way out, my life was over. And I thought, let me take it a notch higher. Let me go do it in Joburg. That way they'll even have the guilt of, yes, it was spiteful of me to act that way. I agree, and I acknowledge that. But that's how hurt I was. I wanted to hurt them as well. And so I came to Joburg in that manner, to start afresh in that way. And after a couple of weeks, they managed to find me, because also I had disappeared off the face of the earth, changed phone numbers, everything. And through a friend, they found me. And we met and we reconciled, and they gave me my daughter back.
How did you feel being away from your child? I mean, the word that comes to mind for me is relieved.
No, I wasn't.
I mean, and I'll tell you why I would say that, because for many women who speak about their postpartum depression struggles, even the sound of a child, your baby crying, could be the most triggering thing. And also, it's obviously coupled with now, you don't want the child to be there because you're dealing with this thing you don't understand. You're supposed to be happy. But at the same time, now you feel bad for feeling that way, and. So you never felt relieved. What did you feel?
Like I said, for me, I felt like my child was the only thing I was doing right in my life at the time. I felt like I had messed up my life so much with my decision making that I looked at him like, this is the only thing that I've got right going on. And so I knew that if I don't have her near me, I was just going to come to Joburg and let life deal with me the way it wants. I was going to be a victim of my own circumstances. I'll probably be on the streets in Hillbrow.
Yes.
Do you understand? So I wasn't relieved being away from her. As a matter of fact, I felt betrayed by my immediate family, that they would choose him over me and they wouldn't stand up for me. And worst of all, they would allow him to keep the baby. And maybe it's some sort of an attachment I have towards my kids, because to this day I still fight for them. Nobody's taking my kids. Yeah.
How did you eventually get back on your feet? I mean, you say your family found you, you guys reconciled. Did reconciling mean, okay, now I'm based in Joburg and I'm going to be here with my child?
It meant exactly that. I even asked if they can help me reconcile things with the baby daddy, but not in terms of being in a relationship. More like you're allowed, when you're in Joburg, you're allowed to come to our place and see the child. Because I wanted my child to have a relationship with her father. I know what growing up without having a father figure can do to a girl. So I wanted that relationship. And so I did get assistance financially from my mom for a while until I got back on my feet through various jobs until I found something that was solid.
What is the relationship now with your daughter's father?
It was good until a few weeks ago.
A few weeks?
I know. Like, I posted on social media the other day, guys, after 12 years of pushing such beautiful co-parenting that I always praise him for, he dropped a bomb on me like this. 12 years later, So now we're definitely not on good terms. We are dealing with a legal issue in court. Yeah.
I hope and pray for your child's well-being in that. Because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. Now, at some point, where did the part in the picture come about where now you got married?
Because I think when I got married, I was caught up in some spell, and when I woke up...
What do you mean?
I woke up and I'm like, I'm married, I have a child. Things happen so quickly, that's the thing. I feel like I was caught in a haze.
Was this now when you're on the set of Skeem Saam?
Yes.
So you met this person who also happened to be working with you.
Yes.
Which it can happen very easily, guys. When you're on set, spending the
Your
same
life
amount
is
of
always,
with the same people, cool. So you meet this person and things move quickly. You're in love, there's a child. You say you woke up one day, okare now you were married and khona le ngwana.
I was like, how did I get here? So I've never really explained this, but it's in my book. And maybe if I say it, people will be more eager to go buy my book now. I was never in love with him. I was never in love with him. I don't even know how I made that baby, you know? What do I mean by that? When I met him, I was in a relationship that I was in for about 4 years, which was an on and off relationship, right?
And this is not the father of your first child.
It's not the father of the first child, it's not the father of the second child.
Yes.
But it was this man I had met and I was convinced he's the one. If you ask me to marry him, I'm going to say yes. My daughter, my oldest daughter, loved him. They had a good relationship. You know, he was everything I loved in a man, correct? And lockdown hit. COVID hit. And I was happy that we were going to be together.
In lockdown.
Yeah, because it was that time where they say, wherever you are by this time tomorrow, that's where you're staying for the next 21 days, you know. And I was excited. Oh my goodness, we're going to be that ideal family I've been thinking about. I mean, 4 years in, you know. And then it just so happens that I fell pregnant within that time. And this guy literally took my heart and grated it. Not cut it into pieces, not shatter it. He grated it because he told me he doesn't want that baby.
Yo.
The love of my life tells me I don't want that baby. And I'm speaking about it openly because it's in the book. So it's not a secret.
Yeah.
And so it was locked down, Relebogile. There were not clinics, female clinics were not open. Okay, Mary Stopes was not open. It's COVID. So we had to devise a plan to get some backdoor termination pills. I almost died that night. He watched me shaking in bed and feverish and everything. The next day was Mother's Day, and we had to go spend Mother's Day with my mom, who was living with my brothers in Midrand at the time. So my daughter and I, oldest daughter and I, left to go to Midrand. When we came back, this was gone. He packed everything, even his earbuds. Okay. So I was shattered to the core. I did not know myself. I was destroyed because it hadn't been the first time he did this. He had been ghosting me for 4 years, hence the on and off. So now I had run out of any emotions. I was shattered. So I was living in a haze of whatever came in the form of love, I would take it to feel validated because I felt I was no longer worthy of love. This man did this to me and he left afterwards. And so whatever came in the form of love, I took it. And that was the father of my second child and the man I ended up marrying.
I want to pause just with the second, with the marriage, to just ask you how you are feeling today about the child that you had chosen, you know, under the circumstances that were not really fully of your choosing to terminate.
So I'm a deeply spiritual person, and I know for a fact that you don't do something like that and there's no spiritual implication. I may not be traditional in the African sense. So I knew very well that I had to do some deliverance about that. For a while, I felt like a dark cloud over my head. Hence why when I fell pregnant with the second kid, I kept her because I thought I almost died with that situation. And as much as I don't love this man, I'm keeping this baby.
Did he know, your husband, that you didn't love him?
He did.
In real time when you were with him, did he know in his heart of hearts that you didn't love him?
He did. As a matter of fact, when we met, I told him exactly what I went through, and he said, I'm not going to let you go because you've been slipping through my fingers all these years. This time I'm keeping you. You will heal while you're with me. I'll help you heal.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like, but it's not like you need to patch up the pieces. It's grated. It needs to regenerate. I need a new heart at this point, you know. But he said, no, I will heal with you. So he knew, to the point where I think maybe that was the instigation of his abuse, because he knew in the back of his mind that this woman does not love me as much as she loved him.
Ooh.
And they knew each other, by the way.
What do you mean?
They worked in the same production.
This plot keeps thickening.
I know. I thought I was going to keep it simple. But
okay, so when you were now married to father of your child number 2, what did this other man have to say about it, if anything?
Oh no, he had disappeared. He had left the company as well, the production company, only to find out after getting married 6 months later he also got married. Yes.
And how did you take those news when you found out?
I was hurt, because deep down inside you were supposed to marry me. All those 4 years of cleaning you up for you to go be enjoyed by another woman. I was hurt. Ke go agile monna, re thomile fase together, and then but the hurt came from realizing that, oh damn, he didn't love you as much as you loved him. So,
or even as much as you thought he loved you.
So it was a hard pill to swallow, but emotional maturity says, swallow it, girl, put on your big girl panties and keep moving. I kept moving in the wrong way though. I was supposed to choose healing first, time out, but I jumped straight into the next relationship.
If now you fast forward to, at some point now, things start going downhill. You're married, you're with a child, you know in your heart of hearts, but you're kind of going with it because it is what it is. What ended up happening that you left the production, you then at some point were in a shelter as a parent. Of two. How did you even get there?
So, although when I took the decision to end the marriage in 9 months, when I took that decision, I knew my life was going to be inconvenienced. I knew that I'm moving from a 2-income household to a 1-income household. As a matter of fact, at the time, I was moving from a 1-income household to a no-income household.
Were you the one earning the income?
No, because I stopped working when my pregnancy started showing.
Yeah.
Back then, I thought, okay, this is how the industry works. But I later learned that, because these two individuals worked in the same production house, news got around, people put one on one together. It really didn't look good on me. Hence why I always say, I don't blame anybody for losing that job on that show. I blame myself for my own decision making. Yeah, my personal life infringed on my career.
It's almost, what is that saying? Don't where you eat.
Yes. And Oscar just talk.
Oscar just talk. Oh my God, that is so deep.
So, yeah, but then again, it came from a place of, guys, I was acting out of character. I was that hurt that Lynn and I did not know what I was doing. I was just hurt people.
When did you sober up from this haze? When did reality, was it when you were making the decision to leave?
Reality hit when I was about 7 months pregnant. So, hence why I ended up, the marriage ended before the child was even born. Do you know what I mean? So I sobered up then, because also then you're pregnant, you're not drinking, you're not smoking weed. Yes. Like before, when I was with him, all we did was drink and smoke weed, and those drinks, take it or leave it. It's a lockdown. Do you understand? That's how heavy it was. Oh, please don't judge me, Kling.
I am not. I just love your honesty. I live for this. I love your honesty. But I also think a lot of people at that time were in that space because life was uncertain. Yeah. So I'm sure lots of people went through that weird thing of just making random decisions that did not necessarily make sense to your true nature, to your sober self.
Yes.
Because there were people who were like, maybe the world's going to end.
You know what I mean? So live your life as you can.
Yeah.
So but that's when I sobered up. Reality hit, like, okay. I remember even saying, Lord, please teach me how to love this man. because I'm already married. I'm Benegant. Family was there. People celebrated us, you know. As much as I'm waking up from the haze now, Kyokopa, teach me how to love this man. And I didn't just cut things off right away. I really tried to seek help. Marriage counseling, therapists, rehabilitation. I've tried. So by the time I decided to say, no, I have to end this, was not for my own selfish gain. I actually wanted to redeem myself after all the bad choices I had made. But his abusive nature was now affecting my oldest daughter. And him and I, one person was going to kill the other. Because whenever he got violent, I got violent back. So somebody was going to... Physically
violent.
Yeah. Sure. So one of us was going to kill somebody else. And I did not want that to be my child's story. You know, again, for me, I felt I had to fight for the child's well-being. And that's when I cut ties. But after cutting ties, what most people don't realize is, yes, we applaud you for leaving the abusive relationship. Yes, we applaud you for willing to start afresh. But do you know that it's going to inconvenience you? Do you know that it's probably going to get worse before it gets better? You know, I tried to always stay above water, tried to always keep the rent going. And it came a time where I really just couldn't. And I owed the landlord half of the rent for a good 3 months. And she evicted me.
Why was going back home not an option? Because that's the question many people will ask. Yeah. How are you homeless? Where's your family? Everybody was somewhere.
That one is a difficult one to answer, because then it would mean that there's certain people's reputation I want to spare. Others I don't care about, I'll speak about them freely. But there's family, I want to spare their reputation, because we still need family regardless of how tough times get. But at that time, the reason I couldn't move home is because I realized I was on my own. I felt like I had no family support anymore. They had given up on me. As a matter of fact, they felt maybe I should be suffering because my decision-making led me to these circumstances. So I had to take a decision as a mother. Okay, I'm thinking in the framework of I don't have family, I'm on my own. What would a mother do? And I Googled shelters and I found a shelter.
And how long were you in that shelter for?
We were there for 2 months. One thing about the shelter, what it does is it boosts your confidence to try again. So while you're there, they do encourage the mothers, go find a job. Go start again. You're safe now. Your perpetrator is gone. Or, you know, your life that you used to know, it's not going to be that way anymore. They take care of the kids for you. You know, my kids were taken care of, taken to school, fed, you know, and during the day I had that free time to go fix my life again. And I found confidence again to be that girl I was when I came back from the States, to knock on doors and kick them down and say, I want a job. That's exactly what I did. And within a month or two, I found various jobs in the industry, which I believe now can be a form of sustainability for me, you know, but I didn't know. All it took was to let them know, here I am, Kibatla Spani, I'm available, I've got the skills.
And I think it's so important with you saying that is, being top of mind is so powerful in this industry, because sometimes people know of you, they know your capabilities, but they're not thinking, oh, she's available.
Yes.
So now no one's like, no, arafonele, you know, this person or that person, unless you're like, by the way, if you have anything, I'm around. Then the person's like, actually, khonale something.
Yeah.
What was the most difficult part? And I'm so glad you're speaking about shelters the way that you are. I mean, I've worked with a few women's shelters, particularly for women who have escaped, you know, abusive marriages, abusive situations, and they go there with their children. And we don't realize the work they're doing is godly
Very
work.
Yeah.
To have those safe havens available. Your daughter was old enough to have a conversation with you. How did you tell her, listen, this is where we are, this is what's going to happen before going there?
She, you know, because of her age, she could see everything happening around us. She understands why we couldn't go back to my family home, you know. And the next morning when I woke them up and I said, we're going to a shelter, she said, Mom, does that mean we're going to be sharing bunker beds next to families and living in a hall? Are they going to take, you know how they are in the American movies, are they going to separate us and take us to foster homes? I'm like, no, we're going to be together. We're going to a women and children's safety home. So she was a little bit scared. I did need to find her therapy as well on how to deal with it, particularly also because it was in the papers very, very quickly, and people at her school know what her mother does for a living. So we needed to get her therapy and also help from school, from the teachers. But I think I have engineered a tough cookie there. That one is a tough one. She knows how to speak for herself, you know, but I did not undermine the fact that she might need some help on how to navigate this change in her life.
Which came first, somebody finding out or you telling the public? Because I remember watching your video and thinking to myself, you are so brave and courageous. And I love me a person who, you know, there was no part of me that felt like you were asking anybody to feel sorry for you. You were just stating what the situation is. You were being real about the realities of your life, but also the part of, you know, it's easy to say to a person, he's abusing you, why don't you just leave?
Yeah.
But as you said, there are major life changes that happen because of that, especially where finances are a consideration. But which was it that came first? What was the thing that made you say, I'm actually going to just post this video?
One, I saw some lady taking pictures of me while we were at the shelter waiting to be transported to the house. So you go to the offices and then they transport you to the house that's available. And I thought, oh my goodness, tomorrow it's going to be in the papers. Or maybe she just was taking a picture because she recognizes me. I don't know. Right? So that was my main reason. I'm going to own my story. That's how I always take my power back in literally everything. I own my story. I will tell I'm going to tell you my story. But also, I was also just, again, being spiteful to my family members who had deserted me.
I just love her honesty. I love her honesty.
They deserted
You're
me
like,
again.
actually, everybody must know I have a family, but I'm here.
You know what I mean? So I felt deserted again. It reminded me of that trauma when I was escorted out of my family's house in a police van. So I felt deserted again, and I just wanted to let them know, you will have to answer to the public, or why is your sister there?
Did they reach out to you when they saw that video or when it was public?
No. But we did solve things. One thing I always strive for is, given the opportunity, I will sit down and say, let's work this one out. You know, no blame game, but let's figure out, you know, where did we go wrong? Why were you that angry that you do something like that? First of all, I wasn't angry. I was thinking of my children's safety. We can't keep living at friends' houses. We definitely are not going to live in a man's house who said, come live at my house with your kids. I'm going to have to pay with ass at some point. You know what I mean? So,
because ain't nothing free.
You understand? And I can't teach my little girls that. So for me, that was the safest option at the time. And I knew I wouldn't be there forever. And, you know, family just needed to understand how hurt I was. You know, I'm a loyal person. And when that loyalty is not returned, I break, because I'm that loyal. I'll give you all my loyalty. But when you don't offer it back in return, maybe not in the same magnitude, but at least show me, Hore, I saw what you did for me. That's when I break. I lose it.
Where are you today with your relationship with your family?
I would say we're making amends. We're doing good. Sometimes you're even grateful for things like this to happen, because they force those uncomfortable conversations to happen. So we are no longer toxic towards each other. I'm talking my siblings now. But the most important relationship, which is one with my mother, is also being mended, because we had to have the uncomfortable conversation, which was, I know that you have been married to an abusive alcoholic husband for this long. And for you, it's a norm. But it cannot be mine. And it's not going to be my daughter's norm. This vicious cycle stops with me. And if I
that's
have to
the one
fight,
around addiction.
Addiction and abuse. Yeah.
And then, I mean, you've already told us about the father of your first child. Where are you with your ex-husband and your relationship and co-parenting?
You see, the thing is, I don't know where he is right now. I know he will emerge from whichever grave he dug himself into. And I hope he does for the sake of his daughter. But for me, I'm just hoping wherever he is, he's healing. He's healing parts of himself that he didn't even know were broken, because he discovered how broken he is when we did the therapy sessions and everything. So I hope he's healing. I haven't seen him since the last time he got out of the house because of the protection order.
Sure.
4 years later, I haven't seen him. But I whenever I do any interview and they ask me about him, I always say, the door is still open for you to come get to know your daughter, not for us to get back together. And I do apologize for wasting his time, marrying him, knowing I don't love him. I've apologized many times for that. But I do want him to get a relationship with his daughter.
Would you know, though, if something had happened to him?
I used to have access, but right now I don't. But I'll just keep an ear on the ground. Yeah.
What would you like your children to learn from you? Like the biggest lesson you want them to learn from you?
Which is the lesson I use every day. When you fall, don't stay down, baby. Don't stay down. Get up and dust yourself and keep going. Literally in every situation. When you fall, don't stay down.
You are working in radio right now. Are you totally loving it as a producer?
Yes. I still do my radio show where I'm the presenter on weekends, a music radio show. But during the week, I'm a producer. I've just also learned that I'm a good TV presenter. I got a TV presenting gig recently. I can't disclose names until it's on air. And I'm back in acting again.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love me a comeback story. Do you feel like you have closed that full circle from everything that you've been going through, personal life, workspace? Do you feel like you've learned that lesson?
Yes, some lessons I have learned, even though they were hard to learn. But I have to be honest, there's certain things that you can't learn, or it's not a once-off thing. It's an ongoing process, like healing relationships, like with my family, healing oneself from self-sabotage. I had to learn to be a little bit more kinder to myself. But one thing for sure is the biggest lesson I've learned is while you've got it good, learn to save for rainy days and learn to remember that it may not always be like this forever. So don't take what you've got for granted. Put in the work. Don't complain, and don't be complacent, because when life is good, we tend to be complacent. You tend to relax. And you forgot to remember, it's not always going to be there, especially in this industry. Hence why I've decided to continue studying my psychology until I get to my PhD level.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love your story. I love just how you have grown out of it. And the most consistent thing I take out of your story is, like, you can't keep a good man down, like, each and every time. And I wish you just continuous and ongoing healing. There's something we do on this show, because I'm all about healing.
Okay.
Which is, I have a deck of cards.
Okay.
They're not tarot cards.
Okay.
They are soul cards. I'm going to shuffle. You're going to tell me when to stop. And then I'm going to let you choose. You'll tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop shuffling.
Okay. Choose a card. Any card. Pull it. Okay. Now, is this the one?
Yes.
Okay. Read out loud. Other side.
It's kind of paragraph, ne?
There
Okay.
you go.
To where does my soul want to travel? To where does my soul want to travel? To the best version of myself. Yeah, I don't want to leave this earth without knowing my potential and my capacity. I feel like I could be the Maya Angelos of this world. So I feel like, it still needs to get there.
So I'm going to now read you your soul card, which says, when we travel, we grow. We open up our little worlds to more adventure, thrills, patience, understanding, trust, and oneness. Our hearts and minds expand and our desires are satisfied. Where is your soul calling you to visit?
Is in literal traveling?
No, I think your answer was perfection, because when you said the thing out loud, the first thing that I thought for you is, if I were to put a prayer for where your soul should travel, I said on the other side, I thought to myself on the other side of healing. So your answer was perfect. I don't think it has to be a place. I think it can be, like you said, to the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Does this resonate with you?
Very much so. That's my current commitment. I wake up every day to say, okay, Nolo, what can you do better that you didn't do yesterday? So I do want to be the best version of myself.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I feel so honored. You dressed up for me at the show. You've poured your heart and soul. Please tell everybody into that camera where to get your book and where to tune in to listen to you on air.
Okay, so how to get my book is to follow me on my social media platforms. I'm selling them from my own capacity. The email address, though, is @adecadeInMyLifetime@gmail.com. A Decade in My Lifetime, that's the name of the book, @gmail.com. Social media platforms, it's @Pebetsi Matlaila, the only Pebetsi Matlaila you'll find there, unless it's a fake account. Otherwise, you can catch me on Channel Africa on weekend, Saturday, 12 to 2 p.m. on the Africa Chat Toppers. In terms of TV, just keep your eyes on the screen. You will see me. You'll find out soon.
We'll put it in the comment down below. Just look at the caption. We'll tell you where you can see her. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much to all of you for tuning in for I just love me a good redemption, turnaround, full circle, powerful, come up, bounce back kind of a story. And I hope that it inspires some of you as much as it has me as well. And if any of you are, struggling with addiction, struggling with domestic violence, struggling with depression, we will put some details down below for where you can get help. Thank you for tuning in. Put your questions and Pebetsi will maybe respond to some of them. Let us know who else you want to see on the show and also what you want us to talk about, because this space and this platform, I think, really is for connection and conversation, and this little community of ours we're building together. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you next time.